Hi, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Kaylee, and this is
Shoot the Vows. And today we have a really special guest. We have Mary Kay with Creative Catering, but you also have like several other hats you wear, so tell us a little bit about each one.
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me. Yes, so our main business is Creative Caterers. We also have a beautiful rustic venue in Penfield and Rochester called Glendoveer's, and then we have a wedding barn in Lyons, New York called Togannon Wood Estate Barn.
I know, not easy names. That's why
No, there is.
like, I'll let her handle that.
Yes, it's a mouthful, all of them. So
I love that. So
absolutely.
you are probably really busy then.
Extremely busy, yes.
And you probably have a lot of experience with weddings in general then.
Absolutely.
Handling all that.
Yeah, I've been doing this for, going on for 40 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Let me ask you, I'm starting to do this thing with all the vendors we bring on.
Yes.
Is there one piece of advice, if you could give to all brides and grooms, what piece of advice would you give them?
Probably hire someone that's going to be in charge for the day. Either a day of coordinator, someone that isn't part of your wedding, your bridal party.
Yeah.
Not
Or
a parent.
Yeah. No parents.
Hey, you hear that, listeners? We didn't beat that horse this time.
Yes, no, not it. Let all those people enjoy themselves. And especially, I have a lot of people that say my maid of honor is going to be the day of coordinator. They're already doing too much as it is. So, hire somebody that has done this before, I guess is probably my best advice.
No, that's,
because I do have, obviously, everywhere that we cater, all our venues, my staff is all there. And yes, people do know what they're doing. They can run the show. But to have one person for everyone to be able to go to and talk to during the whole reception is just priceless.
Yeah, we also tell people too, even if you assign someone to be your day of coordinator, like a friend or a family, they're still going to come to you with a bunch of questions because they either don't have experience with weddings or they don't know how you want things because you didn't meet beforehand.
Correct.
A day of coordinator is going to know exactly what they need from you leading up to the day.
Right. And especially a friend or whomever, they're, like you said, they've never done this before.
Yeah.
So they're going to go over questions that, one, have already been discussed probably 10 times in all the meetings you've had, or two, it's just people in the business already know the answer to.
Absolutely.
So, and again, just let your friends be friends, let your family be family, and hire somebody.
Yeah, and you do the event coordination, the wedding coordination, and all that.
Everything, correct.
For the venue.
For the both venues and even for catering, we do a ton of weddings in other locations. So I still will meet with the bride and groom along the way. We go over the time frame, obviously all their food choices, their bar choices. Everything is well mapped out way beforehand. I just always feel like, especially when it comes to my staff, if they already know my format and how I kind of do each and every wedding, it's kind of easy then for everybody to follow.
Yeah.
And I always say, sometimes a DJ likes to do the time frame, sometimes the photographers do, but when we have the food and the beverages, it's kind of easier if we start with the time frame and then everybody could kind of tweak it as we go along.
Yeah. So I definitely think that like when hors d'oeuvres, like cocktail hour are, and then when dinner is served, definitely kind of dictate the flow of the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
Do like food choices dictate like your timeline at all? Or?
Sometimes late night menu, which has become super popular in the last couple of years. Obviously, we have to get that out before at least an hour and a half before the wedding is going to end. So that might kind of dictate a little bit, but usually at that point it's just kind of the party happening at that point.
Yeah.
Pictures are done, it's just usually music, dancing, and drinking at that point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say you don't want, especially dinner time, to run over. Let's say it's supposed to begin at 6. If you wait till 6:30, now the food has been sitting a little too long. Meats are getting a little dried out. Food could only sit for so long.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And I get it. People are doing a million things that day, but I always say, let's just basically stick with the time frame to at least dinner, and then afterwards, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know?
So for like timeline purposes of things, is it, if like a barbecue brisket wedding, I'm assuming that would be ready earlier in the day rather than like a steak and lobster wedding or like.
Right. Well, in our case, we prep all in our main hub and then we send everything out and then we finish on site. So it doesn't really matter what you order with us. If you want a 7 p.m. eat time, we could do it no matter if it's a beef brisket buffet or surf and turf. Absolutely, because we are working off the time frame that was already kind of set in stone then at that point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We also tell people to maybe if you're having a messier dinner, tacos, barbecue.
Yes.
Do your first dances and stuff like
Yes.
that
Speeches.
before,
Yes.
before dinner. We don't need a groomsman giving a speech with their
Yes.
best man with like barbecue sauce on his shirt.
And they always too, especially the guys and the groom, they want to take off the jacket, they want to take off the tie and stuff like that. I've had many grooms go get dressed per se before cutting the cake because the bride wants him in his full suit. So that'll take a little bit more time. Or when the bride has to have her dress bustled, that takes a little bit of time. So you got to prepare for that because normally they want that done before their first dance. So there's just a lot of little things that can really change a time frame.
That really add up.
Absolutely. They do. They do.
Yeah, you guys do venue and catering all under one roof, which obviously probably has a lot of advantages. Tell
Absolutely.
me a few of those.
Conveniences.
Very much so, yeah. So when we're like doing our own venue or the barn, yes, everything is already there. When we do catering, we have to bring everything. I always say you have to bring even the salt and pepper shakers, the little things that you don't think of, know, like with the coffee station, you have to bring creamers and stir sticks. It's all the little things. So we just have to start earlier in the day then to prepare for the outside catering.
Yeah, we were at a wedding a couple months ago and there was no coffee.
Yeah.
Which was
only
shocking.
one.
It's the only wedding that
Only
I've
one.
seen. All of them have the nighttime coffee, and all the
Yes.
old people love it.
Yes.
One of them,
So
I was working a
sad.
photo booth
Call
in
me
a little.
old.
I'm not talking about you. There was an old lady that came up to me. Maybe it was Caitlin. Who knows? And she said, "Miss, where's the coffee station?" I was
Yes.
like, "I don't work the wedding. I don't know. I'm so sorry."
I'm just taking video.
I'm just here. I'm working.
Sometimes the brides and grooms say, "Oh, we don't need coffee," and I'm like,
Those older
yes,
folks
it's
want it.
about you too.
I do.
but-
Speak
right,
for yourself.
Right, everybody needs a little caffeine, right? Absolutely. But it's the older generation, they love coffee, especially when it comes to with their sweets.
Just calling me old too.
No, I'm not.
Caitlin's old.
You're an old soul.
I am an old soul. I like my coffee and my
Yes.
tea.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't even drink coffee, so it's kind of funny, but the little things like that. I know the bride and groom think, "Oh, who needs coffee on our wedding evening?" But it's good to have it there.
Yeah. So you guys do everything all
Everything.
under one roof.
Yep.
Bar too.
Bar,
Yeah.
everything.
What are some hidden fees you think that
Ooh, that's a
couples
good
might
one.
need to look out for catering?
Absolutely.
And venue, actually.
And venue,
Yeah.
yes. So a lot of places charge a room rental fee. So basically, this is going to be the price before we even start talking about food or drink. I will say, though, that Glendoveer's does not. But most places do. When it comes to catering, a lot of caterers will charge mileage, depending on how far away it is. So always kind of ask those questions. A lot of times, we'll send one bartender, but the bride and groom might want two bartenders on because they know their family and friends better than we do.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's an extra fee, They might want to extend their open bar hours for an additional hour. So it's just the little things like that. When I do meet with the brides and grooms leading up to their date, I try to kind of talk about all these different things just so I don't ever want anyone in shock, like the week before their wedding with all these extra fees.
Yeah.
They already have enough going on. So I try to really put everything out on the table and these are the charges and it's smooth sailing then kind of as the date gets closer.
Yeah.
Are
makes
there
perfect
any
sense.
benefits from having the catering and venue in one
Absolutely.
location?
They can do different things. the bride is only now dealing with one person and not, there's a lot of venues out there that you rent the venue, then you have to rent tables and chairs, then you have to rent linen. So now they're talking to anywhere between 2 to 6 other vendors out there. And that's a lot,
Yeah, to keep track of.
To keep track of everything, the timing, the date, the coming and going, right. Yeah. Even people don't even think of the picking up of everything, either at the end of the night or the next morning. Some venues out there want the stuff out that night.
Yeah.
So, I always say if you could find everything that comes together, the food, the bar, the venue, it will help in the long run.
Yeah.
And people think sometimes, if I go here and go there, maybe it's going to be cheaper. It's never cheaper. It's usually cheaper to try to keep it all under one roof.
Yeah.
And that goes the same for, I'm assuming, the venue and catering as it does for photo video.
Absolutely.
I know that we push that a lot, is it's better to hire one company that does it all the time together rather than 2 separates who've never worked before together.
And that's another benefit. I love recommending, photographers, videographers, DJs, especially because I have been doing this for so long. I always say I know the good, the bad, the ugly. So, but I think we're all in this business to make each other really look great, because why else would we be doing this,
Yeah.
But it's nice to then see a familiar face and, oh God, yeah, I've worked with their photographer many times. They're wonderful,
I love their work,
Absolutely.
Or and same thing on our side. Oh my God, we love the food. It was so great.
Yes.
We couldn't
you love the
enough.
venue because it's easy to
get around.
And take
spots.
pictures,
Right.
and you don't have to bring extra lighting and all that stuff. Yes.
I've had some nightmares with caterers, and it always upsets me because we are recommending to couples more than they know.
Absolutely.
I'm not telling couples about you if you're not going to feed me enough food.
Or if the food's not good.
Or if it's bad, or if it's super late.
Or if there's very little food on the table, or you don't get large enough portions.
45 minutes late and we missed our sunset photos.
Yeah. Right. You've seen it all too. I always say we're there through the thick of it, and you're absolutely right. You're not going to recommend somebody down the road if they're running behind. If they don't consider the vendors, food and something to drink. And I've always said that since day one, you have to take care of the vendors. Yeah. Just give them a little area to sit down for 10, 15 minutes, eat, have something to drink. And it just makes for a smoother night for everybody.
Yeah.
Speaking of vendors, with head counts and stuff like that, what do we recommend for couples? Let's say they're assuming their guest count's going to be 100. What do you recommend for plating wise?
Well, I always, we start out when they do begin the process with me. It's usually in a year and a half. And they always say, approximately they've kind of put together a list, let's just say 100 people. They have up to 2 weeks before the event to confirm with all their final numbers. And I'm meeting with them as we're going along. We get together, we do a food tasting with them, and we have our meetings and our appointments and stuff like that. So at that point then, I kind of give them a breakdown, let's talk about kids' ages. And I will always say to them how many vendors, and if the vendors have assistance, because yes, you guys need to eat and be able to have the exact same food that everybody else is having.
Don't even get me started on that. None of this, here's a sandwich and chips.
Yeah.
And none of this,
here's some cold pizza.
Here's some chicken. It looks like it's been sitting on the sidewalk
for
a day.
Leftover hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, no.
Actually,
right.
I'd prefer the leftover hors d'oeuvres half the time. But that's just me.
And then go right to the sweets, right?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Skip the main entrees.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It is tough.
Yeah, ask your vendors too if they're going to have any assistance, because there's a lot of times you don't even realize your DJ is not showing up by themselves. It's a lot to set up, and it's a lot to set up on time. We do not ever go to a wedding alone anymore, because I worked at one wedding. The everything, the ceremony, the reception was on the main floor. It was at Vernon Downs. Nothing against Vernon Downs, great venue, but the groomsmen suite was in the third on the 3rd floor. The bridal suite was on the 7th floor. And I was in that elevator more than I was taking photos. And I said, after this, I'm like, it's worth it. It's worth it to have somebody running up to tell the bride something, running up to get my light. I went up after the ceremony to get all my lighting equipment, and the room key had deprogrammed. So it was not working on the door. I had to go back downstairs. I ended up shooting all their photos with no flash. And it turned out okay. I was able to pull it off, but I would have liked to use my light.
Of course.
So, it's just, anyways, that was a really long rant to say. You never know if your photographer, DJ, whoever is going to have additional people.
Right.
So.
And this way I say, too, with 2 photographers. While the ceremony is happening, one's taking pictures, the other one then could come to the venue or come inside and take pictures of the room and what it looks like before their guests arrive. Because it's really pretty at that point. No one's at tables yet and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't have purses and codes.
Exactly, and cell phones and everything everywhere. So sometimes it's just good to be able to split up like that.
Yeah.
Is it good for couples to have like a couple extra like plating count for their like we said, assistants? I know one time we were at the wedding, Sarah and Bill's wedding, and I was doing photo booth. I wasn't gonna like eat or anything like that. And Sarah came up to me. She was like, "If you want food, have a plate, enjoy, And I didn't get anything. I wasn't hungry. But like, is there? I guess should they have an extra head count, like an extra buffer? Yeah.
We will always bring extra food. I think it's unforgivable to run out of food at any time.
That would be bad.
or liquor
alcohol,
or beer.
No
Absolutely. It really is. So we always bring extra food. Even if it's a served sit down, even though we have the exact counts from the bride, we will always bring 1 of 2 extra of each. People with allergies might have forgot to tell the bride or groom, by the way, we have allergies. So we try to maybe bring, or I'm a vegetarian, I completely forgot to tell the bride that, And again, for someone, sometimes they bring dates and they didn't RSVP for their date, We've had it all. So yes, we as a team, as a caterer, as a business, we will always bring extra food.
And booze.
And booze. Lots of booze, yes. Soft drinks and coffee, yes.
That's awesome.
Is there like a minimum like head count for like most weddings?
Yeah, a lot of times it's the venues that kind of say, okay, this is what the minimum is.
I've actually talked to a few brides and their caterers are doing it too.
Yes, they are now, because a lot of caterers are like, we won't go out for a certain amount until it hits a certain amount.
Yeah. Especially on like a Saturday date. I know for us as photographers, if we could make $400 or we could make $4,000, I'm sorry, couple that is paying $400. We love you, but it's nothing personal.
100, yeah. And we do set certain minimums, especially for Saturdays between the months of May and November. There's, because it is technically wedding season, especially nowadays, fall, right? Fall is so popular nowadays. Yes. Fridays and Sundays were a lot more lenient when it comes to like minimums, but definitely Saturdays.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We're kind of the same way.
Absolutely. You have to be, you do, because if you're going to get all your equipment together, staffing together, your time, it costs a lot of money.
And I know our equipment alone costs a lot, so I can only imagine all the kitchen equipment necessary. Keeping the knife sharp, having all the pans, the hot plates, the cool ones.
Everything. Just all the thought that goes into it, because whether it's, 25 people or 75 people, we still have to bring all the equipment.
Yeah.
We just will have to bring a little bit more. So that's why we try to keep our minimums pretty reasonable for a Saturday, but we could play around with them more on a Friday or a Sunday.
Yeah. So, are there any mistakes that you consistently see couples making when they're either booking or looking for caterers or venues?
A lot of them is I'll do things myself. I run across a lot of brides that have friends that want to make their wedding cake. And again, I saw a 5-tier cake go right down in my driveway.
Oh, no.
And I actually had one of my boys run to the grocery store, buy a cake, and we kind of fixed it up. But again, when you don't hire a vendor,
Yeah.
there's nothing that can happen if something does go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of cringe when, people say, oh, my brother's friend's going to DJ. And,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary sometimes of what comes rolling in then. And it's not the person, it's their equipment and their ability to be able to maintain everything.
And the experience.
That's
a big one.
That is a really big one.
Yes, it is.
It's not
Absolutely.
something that you can even if you do have the equipment, you can't buy experience.
You can't buy experience. You can't, I can't have you then drinking and I can't find you when you are technically working then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you hire a friend or family, they have a hard time to be able to draw that line in the sand where, okay, I'm actually working tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, just those little things, people are always on a budget. I understand that. And, but when it comes to hiring a wedding DJ or using your friend in the long run, just that little extra money is so worth it.
For sure.
Hiring professionals.
Yeah, we've seen some bad DJs.
Yes.
Just go without flowers at that point.
At
I'd rather
that
go
point, who cares about the centerpieces?
I know,
Really, you
seriously.
know what I mean? There's
Or the chairs, or
And
the
the chairs,
tablecloths,
or the
like
chair
even
covers.
the plates at this point. Like
We've seen some bad DJs.
Exactly.
yeah, DJs and caterers. No hate, no shade. We haven't worked with you. You know what I mean? So but we've experienced some rough ones.
Yeah.
Extremely rough ones. Yeah.
Especially hate to say it, but almost the new ones that are just starting
Yeah.
out because they have no experience, like we were
Right.
just talking about. An experience, you can't buy that.
You
Yeah.
can't buy that. I have so many people that come to me and I've always wanted to be a wedding coordinator. And I say to them, come spend the weekend with me, and you might look at things a little differently.
As a
then.
florist,
It's a lot of
what
work.
used to get under my nerve the most, and I cringe, a little tweak. They always used to come in the shop and they'd say, "Oh, this would be a great retirement job." As I'm literally killing myself 7 days a week during Valentine's Day.
That's almost
Yeah.
a little
Okay, cool.
offensive.
Exactly.
Very offensive, actually.
Yeah. No, I know. And the only way to get experience is to do it, but when people are just starting out, I would say maybe try to hook up with someone that's already been in the business, try to get some experience that way by seeing how other people do it first before just completely going out on your own. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nothing against the DIY wedding. You know what I mean? I totally me personally, I love being creative and using, the DIY stuff. But at the end of the day.
But if you have that in you.
Right.
You
And
know?
not even just that. It's more of I think the DJ and the photographer for me are going to be so important, and the flowers I'll obviously handle as I was a florist, but
Correct.
that is a little bit easier to get away with the flowers looking sloppy than your photos or your DJ.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, and to me,
Just don't
flowers
take
are so
pictures of the
important.
flowers.
Yeah, just right. Exactly.
Shield your eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's a lot of other things too. Like we have lanterns that my brides can use for free. So
Oh, that's cute. We've seen that at
Yeah.
our wedding. It was really cool looking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had brides then take maybe little baby's breath and put them in the lanterns.
Even just greens, getting
Just
eucalyptus
greenery,
greens and laying it
yes.
down at the base, that in and of itself makes a
Absolutely.
difference. And the greenery is going to be a little cheaper than your flowers itself.
100%, yeah. So always ask if the venue has something that they can use before going out and spending that extra money. And then afterwards,
You're stuck with it.
you're stuck with them.
Yeah.
Now you have to try to sell them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's especially after you've already been looking at them for a year, you're in your house,
Yeah.
So, yeah, just little things like that. Ask. Always doesn't hurt to ask.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This
it
was
great
terrific.
talking to you. I think our viewers learned a lot.
We
I
did.
think she concreted and submitted some of the stuff that we've been saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not just us, guys.
It's other vendors too.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we're just all there to make each other look good and to try to have the easiest, flawless day.
Yeah. Because we benefit from a seamless wedding day too.
Yes.
The smoother the better.
Yeah, we want your day to go smoothly too.
Yes,
And we want it to
do.
be just as beautiful as you do because you paid us to want it to be beautiful. You know what I mean?
And now you're going to be out there talking about us. So
Yes,
yes.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate
Thank you for
it.
having me.
Yeah,
It was great meeting you too.
And as always, guys, if you have any comments, questions, or topic requests, drop them down below.
We'd love to feature it in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.